hour is here.
Check it out.
And you're locked on to Utah's highest rated, most listened to sports radio station.
It's my station. It's my station.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, man. We're going to be starting that satellite show. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's get it, folks. Hi, Lloyd. How are you? You good?
Great, Scotty.
Hans, you good?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing, Scotty?
Never better. Never better.
What'd Lloyd say? Did he say he's good, or what's his deal?
No, he said he's good. Said, I wish Hans would put his headphones on.
Well, I got to get these headphones on.
Yeah.
I'm so good, buddy. It is a Thursday preview show. We've got Frank Dolce in studio. We've got a big show put together. We're going to be talking about the CFP rankings. I leave for Lubbock tomorrow after the Football Friday show with Alima Harrington and Ron McBride. I do radio with two of my best friends. I've got an amazing marriage and a beautiful wife. Like, I'm walking on a cloud right now.
Blessed.
Hashtag
Blessed.
blessed.
Yes. I agree. I agree completely. I told you yesterday, I'm like, these 3 hours, man. 3 hours are great.
They're as fun as they get.
By the way, last night, hung out with our guy Bronco Mendenhall.
Oh, how's things?
Broncos good.
They need a win.
They need a win.
That would put him one win away from
one
bowl
win away
eligibility.
with 3 to play. But those 3 are going to be tough. At
Very.
Fresno, at UNLV, home against Boise.
One of those has to pop.
Yeah.
One of those has to pop.
But,
And they got to take care of business with Nevada.
yeah.
But how is Bronco?
Bronco's Bronco.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, the guy's just even killed. It's been really fascinating. All right, so, you know, I was doing sports radio just barely here when he got the head coaching job, and you started doing it full time about a year or two later. So we've been around Bronco for 20 some odd years, give or take. And he, being behind the scenes with him, now, granted, I'm going to tell you this. I don't get invited behind the curtain much, but I do get a peek here and there. And it's been really fascinating. And my opinion of Bronco at my age now is significantly different than it was 20 years ago when I first met him.
Yeah.
And it's about being a father. It's about having older teenagers and watching young men that you're trying to raise in your household be good, quality young men. The stuff that I would, and I'll fully admit that I should apologize, the stuff that I kind of scoffed at and made fun of with Bronco.
With religion and school and family.
And all that stuff. Football comes fifth.
Win.
Yeah, like all that stuff that I used to make jokes about, I owe him a major apology because I get it now. I totally get it.
Well, he does still emphasize it. He doesn't do it as vocally as he did when he was at BYU, but he does still emphasize it. I want people to know that he still holds his players to a high level of accountability.
Yeah.
A very high level of accountability. And schools might not have codes, but he certainly holds these kids to high standards. And I sat in, as you know, many hours of meetings in recruiting stuff with my son and listened to him, and I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. I like this.
Yes.
By the way, I was talking to our mutual friend that you've known forever that's on Bronco staff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yesterday?
Yeah,
Oh,
at
you got
the
to see
coaches
it?
show.
Good.
And we were talking about Rock, and he's like, I'm so fired up to get Rock back here. He said Bronco will be so good for Rock because Bronco will push Rock in ways that he never thought possible.
Never.
And I'm like, well, Rock's already a really self-motivated kid.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, yeah. And he goes, that's awesome. And that's what you need to come into this program. And then you get pushed to another level.
Yeah.
And to a point you never thought was imaginable. And he's like, he's going to flourish here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to flourish here.
I think he is. I think he's going to get a furnace burning.
Yeah.
And, you know, I try to talk to him about football when we get his little P days on his mission. And he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, did you see what happened with so-and-so and such? And, he just takes me on these directions. I'm like, son, come on. It's football.
Yeah.
Nah, he's all mission.
I love it.
But
good for him.
Whatever he decides he's going to pay attention to, it's
all
laser
in.
focused.
Well,
yeah, it's all in.
I mean, that just goes to show you his focus. Like,
Yeah.
right, I'm doing
Yeah.
this right now. I'm focused. And then when he gets back on football, it's going to be right on that.
Well, I love it. Love what he's doing up there. And I'm just, fingers are crossed against Nevada.
Yeah. Look, they should beat Nevada. And then I think they'll get that 6th win somewhere. And to see where that team was a year ago and to where they're at now, I know that, last year they were 4-8. This year they might be 6-6. And so that's only a 2-game improvement, but the vibe around the program is
building.
Just night and day different.
Hey, is Olival, is he a senior?
That's a good question. Hold on. Let me
Is
get my
Bronson
chart.
Olival a senior? And I asked that because he's the type of guy that I wish could stay around the program forever.
Junior.
He's a junior?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I know he's gone through so many different injuries and he's had so many different issues, but I look at guys like him. He's the guy that will change the culture.
Yeah.
He's the guy that holds everybody to standard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what you need. So I'm glad that he'll be around another year to help institute Bronco Mendenhall's policies, culture, because you got to find the guys that buy in and it leaks into the locker room. So when the freshmen come in or sophomores transfer or juniors transfer, it's like, oh, you might have gotten away with that there, but here we run until we puke in the off seasons. That's what we do. So get ready for it. And they help you anticipate things. They help you fight through things. And then on the other end, you come through a lot bigger, a lot better.
Yeah.
So another year, we're just going to continue to see this thing light up. Bryson.
That's what bums me out. He's done.
He's done.
Yeah. I whatever lawyer he can hire to sue for another year, I will chip in on the legal fund.
We're watching Paiva just torch it in his 8th year or whatever he is.
I don't know where you can find another year, but go find it.
Diego he's as good as it gets, but how old is he? He's got to be 24,
25, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Got to be.
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is a Thursday, as Hans mentioned. It's a Ute preview show, which means we will talk nothing but Utes coming up from 1 to 3. It may be a bye week, but that's all right.
He's almost 25.
Wow.
He'll be 25 in April.
And he wants another year.
Yeah.
Because he's making way more money now than he would in the NFL.
Dude, so I was having a long conversation last night with a guy who's got a son that's NFL bound but has another year of college. And draft evaluations have bumped up now. It's like now, if you're anything lower than a third with what this guy is getting paid, anything lower than a third, you don't do it because the only thing is for sure is a signing bonus, which is, that's maybe $280,000, $320,000. But if you're up 3, 2, and 1, you can really start to bump those signing bonuses. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. Kids now, if you're a 4th round valuation, for me, it used to be 3rd, 4th, or 5th round valuation because you're making $0.
Yeah.
You're living on freaking ramen noodles. So if you get a 4th, 5th, even if you feel like, man, I might be a 6th, I could get a $80,000 bonus, and then I could land a $300,000 year. I'm going to do that now if I can. I had a lot of guys that left early. Eric Bateman was one of them, an offensive tackle that got drafted, I think, 6th or 7th round by the Jets. Now, Eric Bateman would be making $780,000 to $1.2 million. And you stay unless you get the 3rd evaluation. And he's like, man, right now the word it's kind of in between 3rd and 4th until he gets an absolute 3rd. He's coming back.
Yeah, I think if there's any question whatsoever, you go back.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. And if it's who I think it is, then I think the world of his ability to milk that for all it's worth.
Yeah. In college.
College, yeah. Yep.
I do too. And if the college experience is anything like it used to be, if BYU is anything like it was for me, I would stay 100 years if I could.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth with one of my teammates, and I was like, I just, all I want to do is go back to those days. I'm so sick of responsibility of life.
I know. Same.
I just want to worry about, football practice and getting my ankles taped.
Yeah.
I got to get there a little bit early so I get my ankles taped. Like, that was the big thing with me and my buddies. Like, yeah, we can sit here and eat pipeline pizza and watch Three Amigos again, but
that doesn't suck.
oh, dude.
It was Raising Arizona and the $5 pizzas at our place.
Oh, it was Three Amigos and Pipeline Pizza. Their barbecue beef that was so freaking good. And you just sit there and watch it, and you know that you're going to be talking to your coaches. The coaches are like, so you missed econ again, huh? You missed ancient Chinese history again, huh? Like, yeah, I did.
I thought I got a note from the teacher that class was canceled.
Would you say that I have a plethora of classes that I should be going to?
I don't even know what that word means.
That would not even entertain Lavelle back in the day. He just looked at me like, this guy. Well, you are just a problem child, man.
I bet Ramage would be like, oh, yeah, I get it.
No, the Ram Charger would not be like, oh, I get it.
Lavelle goes, you've missed a plethora of classes.
The amount of times Ram Charger dropped his head down in his hand, like, oh. Geez.
Was he the pea or a heart the size of a pea?
No, that was Ken Schmidt.
Oh, that was Schmidt. That's right.
Yeah, rest his soul.
Yeah.
And rest Ram Charger's soul. My coaches are all gone, man.
Oh, man.
Roger French, Ram Charger, Ken Schmidt, Lavelle. It's the BYU legends are going to the other side.
Yeah. But I bet they're barking at people. Roger French is over there somewhere in heaven calling somebody fat.
Promise you. Taking somebody off the fullback list and putting them as a guard. Probably.
My $375 just
gone.
All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's get to it. Starting lineup right now.
This is Hans and Scotty G.
Let's go!
The lineup is set, and it's time to kick off the show with the biggest topic of the day. This is the starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nope. Haven't talked about it before and probably won't talk about it again anyway. So we just focus on one thing, and that's being at the right mindset and making sure that we avoid all distractions before we get to that game. The focus this entire week is going into that game against Texas Tech in Lubbock.
There you go. Kalani Sitake saying exactly what you would expect Kalani Sitake to say and everything that he should say about college football ratings. BYU checking in at number 7. We talked a lot about that yesterday throughout the show, but also checking in at number 13, Hans, University of Utah.
Yeah, the University of Utah is in great position, and we'll jump into this here in just a second, but I want to make this point based off of Kalani Sitake's comments right there. You know, I'm sitting down getting ready for the show today, and typically you got to dig for anything BYU, dig for anything Utah. This morning, USA Today released an inside piece of the BYU locker room and Kalani Sitake's secret to success. Only 3 teams over the last 2 years only have 2 losses, blah, 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 this whole thing. And it's a whole big write-up. I'm a slow reader, so it nearly took me an hour to read. It might only have been 2 pages, but forever. And then, I get done with that, and I'm like, okay, let's see what else is out there. Oh, Shehan Jaraja. What does he write for Rivals or
CBS?
CBS Sports, one of my favorite. And
Shehan's almost an honorary Utahn right now.
Oh, I know. He's hitched his wagon because he knows it's the clicks. People love it. Utah, they feast on it. And it was a whole Bear Bachmeier piece, and his opening line was like, is that good or not? It was like Bear Bachmeier raised in a quote-unquote crazy environment, and it's like you go through and read it, and it's a wild environment. He grew up in a different world, but you look at what Bear Bachmeier is, and he's just incredible. So I read through this whole piece. Everybody has their eyes on the 7-8 matchup, and I'm just telling you, it's really hard as a player to not drink your Kool-Aid.
Yeah, yep.
If you're Bear Bachmeier and you're like, oh, there's a story about me in CBS Sports, and it's like, Bear has done everything, and he's a giant among men, and he's just coming of age, and he's single-handedly beat the University of Utah. Now, I'm exaggerating.
No.
But when you read the self-Kool-Aid, these are the things you hear, and you're like, yeah, you're darn right. You start to bow up the chest a little bit, you're inflated, and you don't have the same chip on your shoulder. You start to feel like, well, I've made it. I've arrived. I know as a true freshman, but look, the nation knows my name because I had a really good run against the University of Utah. Screw that. guess what? If it stops tomorrow or Saturday, if it stops tomorrow, everybody stops caring. If things fall apart on Saturday, everybody stops caring.
They're out.
And what I'd say to Bear is, hey, Bear, don't look any further than your brother Hank. Look at Hank.
Oh, it turned fast on Hank.
Look at Hank.
Yep, great point.
Look at what the colleges did to Hank. And remember it. And let that be the chip on your shoulder. Like, everybody loves you right now. You lose to Texas Tech and you have a turnover or two and you're -1 and you know, things just didn't go your way. All of a sudden, it's like, see, told you he's a true freshman. See, told you BYU was overranked. See, that's why everybody kept you out of the top 25 preseason. See, that's why nobody wanted to bump you up the top 25 during the AP. See, this is why we... And all of a sudden, you become the reason that nobody respected BYU. And then everybody starts to turn on you. All of a sudden, it's not so cute that you're playing guitars in old folks' homes.
Why aren't you at practice? Why aren't you watching film?
All of a sudden, it becomes not so cute that you're writing music. It's like, just understand, you're only as good as the game ahead of you. Don't read your own clippings. And I say that because I was there. I did it. I was the king beep coming out of high school my senior year. #1 recruit out of Idaho. Everybody wanted me. And if I'd have lowered my head and worked as hard as I could, I probably would have been a lot better football player. Instead, I was like, man, everybody loves the Hants. Everybody I'm everybody's friend. Everybody wants me. And it just takes the edge off of you. And I wish I didn't have that edge removed from me. And I just hope Bear finds a way to keep the edge. Every day, waking up with the issue. Every day, waking up with people doubting me. Yeah, I know I'm number 7. And yeah, I know Shehan just wrote a really nice big national piece on me. And yeah, I know ESPN Game Day loves to play my highlights. But that means nothing. Because if it stops against Texas Tech, and I have a slip up against TCU, and I miss the Big 12 championship, and I miss the CFP, and I end up in a lower tier bowl, nobody cares.
Nope. No, sir.
So I'm just begging the whole BYU football team, shut out Hans and Scotty. Shut us out.
Yeah.
Shut out Shehan. Shut out USA Today.
Everybody else listen, but you guys, take a break. It's all
Players, get away from it and understand it is fun and games and excitement and attention. And hey, by the way, when you turn off the radio, Scotty and I are still going to love you up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the people that we intend to hear it will hear it. And you will continue to think you're doubted, and you'll continue to play outside of the box. Because if you're going talent for talent, if you're just going pure talent for talent, Texas Tech has better talent. They've got the better talent. They've got the experienced quarterback. They've got the healthy running backs. They've got the best D-end in the country. They've got 2 of the best corners in the country. They've got the best linebacker in the country. I was just putting together all my boards, getting ready for the call on Saturday. Scotty, their left tackle is 6'8", 335 pounds, and he's a senior. He's a massive man, and he can move his feet. Their right tackle is 6'8", 305 pounds. He's a redshirt freshman, and he can move. These are gigantic human beings on the bookends that keep Morton feeling like I got plenty of time back here. Those are really good players. So what do? Do you shrink in the box? If you're Vilpolha, do you say, well, I'm still young, and at least I can blame my ineffectiveness on being young? If you're Keanu Tanavasa, are you able to just say, well, I did my job because I held up the guard, and that was my job? Or do you take it and put it up on yourself and say, wait a second, wait. It's the biggest game in the country with all eyeballs on me. It's time for me to make my money. It's money time. And if you're Keanu Tanavasa, or if you're Vilpolha, or if you're Logan Latui, and you're this defensive front going against this menacing offensive crunch down team, now you can make your money. I could be up in the booth watching them get penetration, get TFLs, get pressures, and be like, There it is, Logan Latui. Another big pressure in a big-time moment. He hits the inside spin move on a 6'8", 335-pound senior. That's what BYU football is all about. That's what you need to hear. Like, these guys have to find energy inside themselves. Because it is. It's the biggest game in the nation.
Yep. All eyes on this one. There's no excuses why anybody that's anybody in college football won't be watching this game.
Yeah.
There's no late night. It's on a network. It's on ABC, correct?
Yep.
It's on, so you've got network access. You got middle of the day. It's at high noon Eastern time. Everybody will be watching this game.
Man, everybody's going to be watching. And I was on with the BYU Sports Nation guys this morning, and they asked me about the number one matchup. The number one matchup, I told you this yesterday, it's your two offensive tackles versus their two DNs. Best run-stopping front in the country. Best pass rushers in the country. And it's going to come down to how well can we maneuver? How well can we take care of these guys? I know that it's not an individual one-on-one, and I talked about that as well, attaching Kean Need or attaching Carson Ryan or however you want to move it, H-back motions that's chip before route, those kinds of things. That's the matchup. If those guys torch your true freshman quarterback, hit him time and time again, if they get back and disrupt the mesh point, where you're 4 yards back trying to put that ball in L.J. Martin's stomach, if there's confusion and push and the true freshman is having to make a pull or give decision with confusion in front of him, you're going to crap the bed.
Yep. It's that simple.
Offensive front, and I know they got it in them. I know they do. Bruce Mitchell backs down to nobody. Nobody. I know they've got it in them. It's just, Kalani was not just trying to blow smoke or generate headlines when he said, this is the best defensive front we'll face. It's the best defensive front they're going to face. And you know how much respect I've got for Utah's defensive front. And John Henry Daly, guess what? He's number 2 in the country. Guess who he's behind? David Bailey.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech defensive end by either a sack and a half or 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Like, this is the matchup. How well did you prepare? How healthy are you? And how ready are you for a fight? Because it's going to be the fight of your life.
Yeah.
And you're either going to walk out of there saying, man, I wish I would have had another shot at that. You're going to walk out of there thinking, oh, man, if I would have only sat down on that inside move when it was 4th and 6 and we had to get the first because we were on a scoring drive to win. If I'd have just sat on that inside move instead of getting beat by it, you don't want the what ifs. Prepare for everything. Watch enough film that you know what type of toilet paper Bailey uses. That you know what type of first step movement Ramel Height is the other defensive end. You know what type of toilet paper Ramel uses. Because if you know those things, then you won't have to say, man, I wish, or man, I should have. You don't want to walk out of that game like feeling like all the pressure of the world's on you. And, we always say it never happens with one position and one play. Well, yeah, it can.
It can, yeah. I mean, we saw a Super Bowl a couple of years ago where Aaron Donald single-handedly won a Super Bowl.
Right. And I don't want to be in the postgame saying, well, Greg, we can't blame that all on offensive tackle A not sitting on a spin move. They shouldn't have had a 10-point deficit in the second quarter.
They shouldn't have been in that position.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, Greg, Andrew Gentry sat on the spin. He drove him into the interior. That opened up the window for Bear Bachmeier to step into, to deliver to Parker Kingston, and Kingston find a little bit of wiggle room on the 4th down, and it gets him in scoring position to grab the lead. Like, it's all these stupid little details of football that I'm Scotty, I stay up at night. You know that. These things weigh so damn heavy on me. This game just got me. It's got me stirred up.
By the way, those two guys seem like single-ply, really rough toilet paper that'll chafe you.
Oh no! They're grabbing bark off of an oak tree.
Yeah, those are guys that you're taking a layer of skin.
Yeah,
and it makes them angry, and then they take it out.
Honestly, they may be 2 non-wipers. They might just be going raw. I don't know. Well, I was a non-wiper.
Oh, stop it.
Depending on how much money I
That's
had
not
for the
true.
month. In college?
You kifed a roll or two from the Kimball Towers.
During my stays?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hans and Scotty, that's the only building I know. So that's.
The Kimball Towers?
Yeah.
I think that's where the honor code was.
I know. That's why. You've told me that. That's why. That's only why I know the only building there.
I don't know if it's there anymore.
Yeah.
I think they moved it.
Hans and Scotty, 12:30. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies return home to Logan for a battle against the Nevada Wolfpack. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So, Scotty, this CFP top 25, and the way it rolled out, it really does set up for two Big 12 teams to be in the college football playoffs.
Yep.
So that's really important. It's something that everybody needs to take a look at. Now, you and I have been running all the different scenarios of if BYU to win out and Utah were to win out. There are a lot of scenarios where BYU and Utah can potentially meet in the Big 12 championship game. A lot of scenarios. Okay, now I want to set up a different angle and a different scenario, and I want to get your thoughts here because when this CFP came out, I studied it, and then we didn't get a chance to get into this conversation. All right, so what if this happens? Let's say BYU splits Cincinnati and Texas Tech. BYU matches up with Texas Tech in a rematch in the Big 12 championship because that's very possible. If BYU were to go 3-1 in the remainder, and Texas Tech beats BYU, wins out, or vice versa, then BYU and Texas Tech rematch. Let's say Utah runs the table from here on out. So they finish out the season coming off this bye week.
Which is very doable, by the way.
Which is very doable. Let's say they finish at 3-0 at Baylor, Kansas State at home, at Kansas. Very, very doable. Very doable. Baylor is really good, but they've got some gaps. And I called a game at Baylor. Great environment. It's some of the best fans you'll be around. Some of the most inviting place it's not the gauntlet. It's like, hey, Chippy and JoJo, everybody's happy, high-fiving, and everything's bigger in Texas kind of thing. Like I would love as a player to go there and get a win. So I'm not afraid of Baylor, and I'm not overly afraid of Kansas, although the stadium redo might have changed things, but I did call a game at Kansas 2 years ago. And so I look at the schedule, I'm like, it's very possible to go 3-0 to finish, and to finish the season 10-2. Okay. BYU and Texas Tech in a rematch. Utah finishes 10-2. They're sitting 13. If they beat Baylor at Baylor, if they beat Kansas State at home, and beat Kansas on the road, they sit at 13. How high can they get? If they don't make the Big 12 championship, how high can they get? And with the Big 12 championship game loser, that would then have 2 losses, fall below Utah as a CFP.
Certainly could. This is the case, and it's a rare situation, but this has happened. There's precedence of this. SEC, it's happened quite a bit, actually, where you're actually penalized to a certain extent by making the conference championship game.
And losing. Yep.
And so there's precedence where this has happened before, where there's a team that doesn't make the in fact, Alabama's done it a bunch of times where they don't make the championship game because of a week 4, week 5 loss, but yet they are just steamrolling, and everybody realizes, hey, they're playing better than this team here that made the conference championship game. And when they lose, they're like, we're putting that team in, and these guys can go to the, Outback Bowl or wherever. And so, yeah, that is a very distinct possibility because this committee is being told, hey, you look at the complete body of work, but you also look at who's playing the best football right now. And if Texas Tech were to lose a game or two, or BYU were to lose a game or two, even though they would have the head-to-head win over Utah, it's not out of the realm of possibility for Utah, especially if they keep putting up these scores.
That's the
that they've
difference.
done the last 2 weeks. The College Football Playoff Committee would be like, eesh, these guys are hot, man. And if we want the best teams playing the best football right now, we can't ignore them.
Yeah. I want to paint the picture that it is very, very possible that BYU and Utah could be in the CFP. That the way they've put together their season, the start they've had. Now, we're through week 10, and both have now used up their bye weeks, and both have a difficult finish. Utah slightly less than BYU, but there are possibilities that both BYU and Utah could get to the CFP. Now, what's difficult is getting to the Big 12 championship game, playing that Big 12 championship against Texas Tech, more likely than not, unless it's BYU and Utah. I think the two most likely scenarios are either BYU and Texas Tech or BYU and Utah.
Agreed. Yep.
Because this game on Saturday will completely dictate that. If BYU beats Texas Tech, understand, if Utah finishes the way they should finish, Utah will be in over Texas Tech, even though Texas Tech has the head-to-head.
Yep.
Are people aware of that?
No, but I think it. I mean, we've been screaming it from the mountaintops, so hopefully it's starting to settle in.
Now that does include it. It has to be a group of 2 loss.
Yes.
If Texas Tech and Utah are the only 2 loss,
nope.
Then it's the head-to-head, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it's got to be a group, and pretty much every design has at least 3 2-loss teams.
And this is why BYU is so important to the future of the University of Utah, because as a Ute fan, you need BYU to beat Texas Tech, and you need BYU to run the table after that.
Right, or you need BYU to lose the next 4, or lose 3 of the next 4.
Yeah, you either. And if BYU loses to Texas Tech, then you go back to hating BYU and rooting against them in every situation because you need them to lose.
2 more.
2 more. But if they beat Texas Tech, you as a Utah fan need to be rise and shout, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, now they got to run it.
Yeah.
Which if they beat Texas Tech, running it, TCU will be difficult, very difficult. That road game to Cincinnati, it's going to be tough. And then UCF at home. But all of them are winnable for BYU.
Yep.
If they beat Texas Tech, I don't. Again, I'm having to pause myself out, and anybody that's a part of that BYU football program, get out of here.
You're not welcome.
Get out of here, because you don't need any of this crap in your head. If they beat Texas Tech, Scotty, it's like the sky's the limit.
Yes.
Texas Tech, people need to understand, they spent the most money on NIL in the offseason. They brought in 20 bodies that have completely turned the tides. They fired both coordinators. They brought in a new D coordinator and a new offensive coordinator. They went from the 123rd defense to the number 3 defense based off of the personnel they brought in and the coordinator that they hired. They've made these crazy changes. Texas Tech is a legit team. Watching what they did to Utah was astounding, shocking, horrifying at times. It really was. For me, it was horrifying because what they did to Utah's offense, it should be illegal.
Well, the thing that was horrifying for me is that Texas Tech did to Utah what Utah's done to so many teams.
Yeah, exactly.
You just play bully ball. And I've never seen Utah. We've seen Utah take losses. Very rarely do you see Utah get bullied. And they were bullied.
And people can try to explain it away to me as, well, Devin Dampier wasn't healthy. I'm not. Okay, but you still gave up 34 points. Well, yeah, but Devin Dampier wasn't healthy and we couldn't sustain drives. It allowed Texas. Well, they lost their quarterback.
Yeah, and that dude came in and started slinging missiles.
Well, yeah, but Devin Dampier. Okay, stop. It's a really good Texas Tech team. And if BYU loses 3 and they're out of the Big 12 championship and Utah rematches with Texas Tech, they're going to have to redesign a lot of things because it was not right what Texas Tech did to them. Now, we talk a lot about Texas Tech they're not perfect. Texas Tech they stumbled against Arizona State. Well, what did Arizona State do to them? Well, Arizona State threw for 320 yards. They only ran for 75, but they threw for 320 yards. And they held Texas Tech to 22 points. 109 yards passing, and it was Will Hammond, the backup quarterback. that came in against Utah. They held Will Hammond to 167 yards, and only 109 yards rushing. So Cameron Dickey, very good running back. Cameron Dickey, I think he's averaging, what is he averaging? Close to 80, 85 yards a game, I think. He only had 40 yards against that Arizona State defense. And it's not like Arizona State's defense is you can't replicate it.
No.
You can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a blueprint.
There is a blueprint.
And Arizona State was the blueprint.
Yeah. Now it'll be interesting to see if BYU can replicate that blueprint.
By the way, Raleek Brown had 70 yards. And 70 yards is kind of the standard for LJ Martin. Now, you've got to have about 150, 160 rushing yards. But if you can get 70 out of LJ and you can get 40 out of Bear, now all I need is 20, 30 from a couple of fly sweeps, a couple of end rounds, a Parker Kingston, a Cody Hagan, or some usage that we're not overly familiar with to go get you another 30 or 40, and there you are. You're at that 150, 160 mark.
Yep. Hans and Scotty, what you may have missed coming up next. Jazz in action last night. We'll give you an update on that. And then Frank Dolce will stop by for your Ute preview show beginning at 1:05 right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than this. BYU and Texas Tech, your home for the best coverage of Cougar football, is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Woo!
I know you're not a big fan of the Eagles, but you got to love this song.
Oh, yeah, man. Amazing harmony.
Seven Bridges Road, the Eagles, on your Thursday right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What you may have missed, well, the Jazz had plenty of opportunities, but a bad third quarter pretty much does them in. They lose to Detroit 114-103. Jazz did everything they could to climb back into that game, but just couldn't get over the hump as the Jazz, after that impressive win against Boston, give one away on the road to Detroit. Leading the way for the Utah Jazz. When you look at scoring in this game, Lauri Markkanen had 25. But how about Svi pumping in 28? And frankly, should have been more involved, honestly, in the offense.
He was good.
10 of 16, 6 of 11 from 3. You got to feed that man the ball.
Yeah. Got a lot of youth that are learning a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping Will Hardy can keep his composure. I'm hoping that these guys can learn the lessons that are needed and continue to grow, because that's all you can expect from them right now. Such a young group.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to surprise you with a little sound here, because I like it when you hear things for the first time.
Okay.
And I get your initial reaction on this. And this is actually kind of in line with something we talked about earlier in terms of Bear Bachmeier. You want to just get all of the noise away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do hear noise, only hear the negative, so you have that edge, so you have that anger. Well, last night, former Jazz man Donovan Mitchell had 45 points. He was 6 of 11 from 3. He also had, 8 rebounds and 8 assists. One of his best nights as a pro. Well, why is that? Well, he was playing NBA 2K, and some kids started talking trash to him.
I wouldn't put the game that I had based on the court. This kid pissed me off today. I was playing 2K. I've been playing 2K for like 2 hours, and I told him too. I was like, just wait. And he just called me washed up. He called me a bunch of things, but I love it. You know what I mean? He said he ain't seen a highlight from me in a minute, and I just told him, all right, we'll see. He said, tell me to go to sleep. Like he was going in. So this game was for that kid or grown man, whoever that was. So I appreciate you. I told him I'd give him a shout out too. So that's what tonight was. I wouldn't.
Wow.
So Donovan Mitchell is playing some rando on NBA 2K, and this guy comes in and starts talking smack. He might have been a 12-year-old boy in Japan. He may have been a 52-year-old woman in Springfield, Missouri. You don't know. and they start talking trash. And, I mean, first off, the huevos on whoever that is, you're up against an NBA player, and you start running your mouth about how they're washed, and I haven't seen a highlight from you in a while. And Donovan Mitchell's like, all right, I'll show you later tonight. That's where he got his motivation for the game.
That's wacky.
Somebody from NBA 2K.
Okay, so he never gave the outcome of the NBA 2K
Oh,
game.
that's true. Yeah.
Do you think he won it or lost it? Probably lost it.
Probably did lose it.
Probably
for somebody
lost
to come
it
in and run and smack like that. Yeah.
while taking the shots and walked away from his video game with a loss and a bunch of negativity and was like, well, at least I can go do it on the court. I think it's wacky that these guys take these video games so seriously. It's wacky. But I'll tell you, me and my brother sit down to a little NCAA football, and, you know, there's always some trash talking and fun back and forth. And then if I lose, I take it personal. It ruins my night.
You throw the controller against the wall.
Yeah. If I win, then I'm walking pretty happy.
Have you guys played the new NHL? Have you guys played NHL like at all?
No, I don't think I've ever played an NHL game.
It's pretty fun.
Is it?
Yeah, it actually is. It's very intense.
So you just control the guy that's got the puck at the
And
time?
you pass it. Yeah, you pass it to the next guy, and the other guys are moving, obviously. But it's fun.
Speaking of the NHL, the Utah Mammoth lose last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it sucked because the Mammoth started out the scoring, looking good all through the second. Toronto was able to tie it up in the second, and you go into the third period tied up, and Toronto just lets loose on a 3-score period, and Utah just couldn't keep pace. But the Mammoth ended up losing, and I sent you guys. Toronto fans are miserable, man.
Yeah, they're a miserable bunch.
I sent you guys a post from, a social media post from somebody, and all the negative comments. Were those all Maple Leaf fans?
Yes.
In the comments?
Yes, those were all Maple Leaf fans.
They're horrendous.
It was pretty nasty. I was like, wow, that's
Holy cow.
pretty nasty for the 13th game of the season.
It was essentially just a hometown post of, I think it was it Paterka? I think it might have been a Paterka post. It might have been a Dylan Gunther post. Anyways, just a...
No, it was Sergei.
Oh, was
Sergei
it? Okay.
Selly.
All right. Oh, that's right. Mikhail Sergachev and his score celebration. And people were just torching him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked a lot about there's a lot of free agents that come and go out of Toronto that they're like, this is my home team. This is my home fans. I don't want any part of this. And it's actually hurt them sometimes in holding on to people because some of these players get treated so poorly.
Well, I know a couple of those guys. I'd take Austin Matthews tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'd take Nylander tomorrow. They got some good players.
Yep. All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Frank Dolce's rolling around here somewhere. It is time for your Ute Preview Show. We will kick it off next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.